Welcome to a brand new episode of Time2Football. Hey, week 11 of the 2021 NFL season was fantastic. You can't ask for a better week than that. So many upsets, just like in week 10. So many storylines to talk about. It's not even over with the New York Giants and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming up here later tonight on Monday Night Football. Should be a good one. We welcome you guys into a brand new episode of Time2Football. My name is Hassan Khan, the host of this channel that we like to call Time2Football. Time2Football. I'll keep on saying it. I'll keep on saying it until you guys subscribe, so you guys have it engraved in your head. Hey, you guys are loyal subscribers that are joining in for the live chat right now, so we really, really appreciate that. Yeah, week 11, man. It's a lot of stuff happening. Justin Fields getting injured. Andy Dalton coming in, essentially, like, I don't know, like being responsible for keeping the Bears in the game, I would say. I mean, the defense of the Bears has been looking good. Lamar Jackson was out with that illness last minute. Tyler Huntley came in. And Andy Dalton came in for Justin Fields when he bruised his ribs. And you could say that Darnell Mooney, well, maybe that touchdown, Justin Fields could have gotten that as well. It was more so a Darnell Mooney touchdown than an Andy Dalton touchdown. Yes. However, Dalton coming in. It's going to shake things up. Ahead of Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, with the Detroit Lions play the Chicago Bears. Who's going to be starting at quarterback? That game of the week was definitely the Steelers and the Chargers. However, Fox will say otherwise. As a matter of fact, let me pull up a couple of tweets that I tweeted out yesterday during the games, which, by the way, you can join us, on Twitter at Time2Football or at It's Hassan Khan. Either one. At It's Hassan Khan is my personal one. At Time2Football is Time2Football's. But this is what I tweeted out personally the other day. Let me go ahead and pull that up because I can't think of a more accurate tweet that I've ever read in my life or I've tweeted in my life. It only has one retweet and one like. But whatever. Okay, so Steelers-Chargers putting on the game of the week. NFL and Fox. America's game of the week will be whoever the Cowboys play. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I mean, that's to pretty much put it nicely. What? Hey, Joe Buck. Hey, Troy Aikman. Huh? I think I mentioned this before. It doesn't matter if the Cowboys are 1-3, 1-4. It doesn't matter. Whichever game they play, it's going to be game of the week. And why is it always that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman have to commentate Cowboys games? I know it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens often. Anyways, yeah, that Steelers-Chargers game was amazing. Justin Herbert looked great. Austin Eckler looked amazing as well. As a matter of fact, I know Connor, my buddy Connor, watches the show as well. Congratulations on your victory. He had Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler, and he played me, and he demolished me. I had no chance. Because I was in that game, I was thinking, like, that week. I had, like, a decent week. I had an above-average week. But I was thinking, like, oh, man, I should have played Myles Gaskin instead of Antonio Gibson. And I was like, man, if I lose by like 10 points, whatever that margin is, then I'm going to be upset because I could have played Myles Gaskin, but I lost by like 60 points because Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler they went off. But yeah, it was pretty good game. Ben Roethlisberger and the offense looked alive finally for the first time this season, it seems like. That they've just been competing with the Chargers at that point. Anyways, yeah, a lot to talk about here on this episode of Time2Football. What we're going to be talking about is NFL news and notes, getting you guys caught up on the biggest news, like injuries and stuff like that happened after Sunday's slate of games, as well as getting you guys caught up with WinView. So what it is we preview the Monday Night Football game between the Giants and the Buccaneers. We do this every week by showing you 10 questions that are available on the WinView app that you guys can go ahead and download. Click that link in the description, actually, and use the download link, winview.tv/T2F. Sign up, start playing, and we'll give you a little bit of a preview on those props. All right, you guys are joining us in the live chat right now. I see you guys commenting. Good morning from Montreal. Thank you for joining us. Good morning. How's your day? My day's pretty good. Can't complain. Do you think the Rams will get better in second half, and do you feel the Patriots are sleepers in the postseason? This is from Joseph. You know what, man? I'm going to say yes, the Rams are going to get better. I mean, compared to the last two games against the Titans and the 49ers, and you have a bye week. Like, that's a good time to reset. I still whenever people ask me who's your NFC favorite to go to the Super Bowl, top of my list, I put the LA Rams like over the Packers, over the Cardinals. I know the Cardinals beat the Rams. I know the Packers can compete with the Rams, but like I'm just saying, it's talent wise, like they're all in. They are all in. They don't care about draft picks. You saw Les Snead with the mug that his kids gave him for Christmas, or not for Christmas, but just in general. It said F draft picks on that mug. That's it. When they traded for Von Miller. Yeah, they don't care. They just want star players so they can win the Super Bowl. Almost did it in 2018, and now they're going down that route again. So, yeah, the Rams, I think they are going to turn it around. The Patriots are huge sleepers, leading the AFC East now. Leading the AFC East. Man, that's huge. That's really, really big. And it just shows that, hey, Bill Belichick did not go anywhere. He's still one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach of all time. It doesn't matter who's under center. Their formula is play good defense, run with the ball, do your job under quarterback. That's it. Let's win games. I wanted to go ahead and put this up. I'm going to start doing this. I wanted to, if you joined the Fantasy Football Q&A yesterday, I tried to do a call-in feature, and I'm still working on the technical side of it. Did not have the time to work on that today, so no call-in feature today. But there will be for future shows, I promise. There will be a call-in feature. This, however, I wanted to start doing this for each show, and it's just question of the day. Question of the day. And the question that I wanted to ask you guys, as you guys can leave throughout the duration of the show and discuss it yourself, what needs to improve with the Seahawks? Because Seattle drops to 3-8 after that 23-13 loss against the Cardinals, and it's like, I mean, they're 3-8 now. This is the worst start that Pete Carroll has ever had in his career with the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, Russell Wilson is back, but like, does that mean that? He hasn't been looking good. So, like, what is it? Like, you have good receivers, you have a good quarterback. I know Chris Carson's out. Maybe it's the run game. You leave your comments. Like, what do you think needs to improve with the Seahawks? And their defense has not been looking that bad either. So I just wanted to ask you guys, question of the day: what needs to improve with the Seattle Seahawks? All right, now let's get into NFL news and notes for today, Monday, November 22nd. What is going on in the league? Well, we're going to be talking about NFL news and notes, and then we're going to be talking about what we learned from this past Sunday. 10 things, 10 takeaways we could take away from this past Sunday. And then we're going to give you a Monday Night Football predictions via WinView games. And then towards the end of the show, we're going to have viewer questions. I'm going to go through the chat. I'm going to answer any sort of questions you have, or if you just want to talk about NFL in general, let's chat about that. But for now, NFL news and notes. What is going on as of today? Biggest news, looking forward to tonight, Saquon Barkley is expected to play. He will be making his return for the New York Giants ever since suffering that rolled up ankle. That Kadarius Toney stepped on his ankle in that game against the Dallas Cowboys, was out after returning from another injury. Finally, they hope that Saquon Barkley can come back. I don't know what the split is going to look like. I know that early on it was Devontae Booker head on beginning of the season, and then they slowly worked in Saquon Barkley, and it was still Devontae Booker and Saquon and Devontae were up here. And then slowly, Saquon, and then that game against the Saints, it was all Saquon. And then the game against the Cowboys, he gets injured. So now I think they're back at that level where it's going to be even, maybe 12 touches each. I could see that happening for Saquon Barkley and Devontae Booker. So, but he is expected to play. CeeDee Lamb suffered a concussion, an attempted completion, deep shot from Dak to CeeDee towards the end zone. Went up to go get it, did not get it, fell down, banged his head on the grass. So he is unfortunately going through concussion protocol. He did not return in that second half of the game. This was right before halftime. He went in the locker room, did not come out of the locker room. CeeDee Lamb is in concussion protocol. And if you want to ask my honest opinion, we don't know any news yet, but my opinion is that CeeDee Lamb is not going to be playing this week because they have a short short week. I mean, Dallas Cowboys every Thanksgiving. They play every Thanksgiving, and then I mean, it seems like they've been playing the Raiders a lot on Thanksgiving too. Not like every year, but like recently, like in the last 10, 15 years, I think they played them. Like this is gonna be the third time, which is kind of odd. I don't know why, but anyways, yeah, CeeDee Lamb. I don't expect him to play this week, so it'd be Michael Gallup and Cedric Wilson that step up as the primary pass catchers, as well as Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz as well will be working in the game. Michael Carter suffered an ankle injury for the New York Jets. He was taken out of the game, did not return. Tevin Coleman saw 5 touches, 5 carries, and then Ty Johnson only saw 1 carry following Michael Carter's injury. So we assume that Tevin Coleman is going to be working in as the early down back. Ty Johnson, probably the pass catching back. But Michael Carter, ankle injury. We don't know his status yet, but just keep that in mind. Justin Fields, like we mentioned, bruised ribs. His status for this Thursday is in jeopardy because they do play on Thursday against the Detroit Lions, and now Andy Dalton could be the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears. The last little bit of news, thankfully, it's a good thing because Monday is when we recap injuries, and there's not really a lot of injuries going on right now. Eric Ebron suffered a knee injury on that touchdown that he had. Got up, celebrated, but his knee was a little bit banged up. He did not return for the game, so that seems like that Pat Freiermuth would be the guy to come in and get the bulk of the targets. As a matter of fact, it actually paid off because when Eric Ebron scored that touchdown, he was out of the game. Then Pat Freiermuth scored another touchdown right after that. So, yeah, those are your NFL news and notes for today. Again, not much to talk about, but hey, that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. All right, now, what I get into is 10 things that we learned from this past Sunday of NFL games. What can we take away from this past Sunday? 10 things that I learned. 1, the Steelers need TJ Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick if they want to make a playoff run. Absolutely need them. In this game against the Chargers, I understand the Chargers are a good offense, but you gave up 533 yards of total offense. That's not going to cut it. Defensive coordinator Keith Butler does a very, very good job of taking the talent that he has and having a somewhat above average to really great defense every single year. However, last night showed your star players, like this defense might be just centered around 2 players, if not just one, in TJ Watt. And when they're gone, they're missing, this defense starts to collapse. So the Steelers desperately need these 2 defensive studs back in the lineup if they want to make a playoff run. That loss that they had against the Chargers hurts their chances. I think it takes them out of the wild card spot temporarily. Maybe they still have it because of the tie that they had against the Lions, but still, they're kind of on the edge right now. So you need your star players. Takeaway number 2, something needs to change with Trevor Lawrence. I'm not saying that he's bad. I'm not going to say that he's going to be bad for the rest of his career. I don't know. If you want to ask my honest opinion, listen, Urban Tradition Meyer, I think, is the cause of Trevor Lawrence's decline because they're not implementing the system that helped Trevor Lawrence succeed, which is a lot of RPOs, using his legs. The guy freaking ran for 17 touchdowns for Clemson. Like, you got to start using his legs. I understand, man. He's, as an arm talent, really good, but he's in that category still getting adjusted to the speed of the NFL. That's not to say, like, oh, take him out of the game and bench him for whoever, like CJ Beathard. No. I'm saying that Urban Meyer needs to change the coaching aspect and the style of offense as well. I'm not a coach, so I can't really give too much of an opinion on it, but, I mean, that's just me. Like, that's just my opinion. If my opinion holds any weight on it, which it doesn't, I think it's more so coaching, and Urban Meyer needs to really work in the strengths of Trevor Lawrence, which they're running a lot of pro-style offense. But, I mean, Trevor Lawrence is off. Accuracy is off. It's not looking good. So that is the next takeaway. Something needs to change with Trevor Lawrence. The next takeaway, the Bengals are not a fluke. Oh, we had a little bit of doubt in our head when they lost to the New York Jets, when they lost to the Cleveland Browns. Then they go to the bye week. They kind of reset. Hey, everything looks great. As a matter of fact, everything looked amazing for Evan McPherson. Evan McPherson had a great day. And actually, as a matter of fact, I think I tweeted that out. Um, Evan McGoatson. Guys, I've been telling you to jump on the Evan McPherson train for a very, very, very long time. He is so accurate. I know he missed an extra point yesterday, but for the most part, like, he's going to be one of the better kickers in the NFL for a very long time. And last night proved why. Maybe the Raiders are just bad against kickers, which they are, but Evan McPherson shined. So the Bengals in general, they're good. They're good. They're not a fluke. Good team, making a run at an AFC wildcard spot. The Bengals, perfectly fine. That's the next takeaway. Next takeaway that we have, takeaway number 4. Speaking of the question of the day, we asked you, what needs to change with the Seattle Seahawks? Well, this is the kind of takeaway that I took away from it. I think it's offensive line issues. I think the Seahawks have a lot of pass protection issues. Russell Wilson doesn't have a lot of time to throw. They gave up 4 sacks yesterday, a couple of which were to Chandler Jones, or one, I think, to Chandler Jones. But the receivers are good. Their defense is playing a little bit better. Russell Wilson just seems a little bit off, and I think it's because of the offensive line. So if anything needs to change, that offensive line. You're 3-8 right now. I don't know how the season's going to play. I know that there's a possibility you could win 6 straight games and go 9-8 and make the postseason. Cool. But if it somehow, some way turns out to be, oh, we have a top 5 pick, top 10 pick, maybe invest in an offensive lineman for the Seahawks and watch them thrive next season. So that is the takeaway. The Seahawks have offensive line issues. Next takeaway, the Vikings have the talent of an 8-3 team. Ooh, upset against the Packers. Hot take as well. All season I've been saying that the Vikings, don't sleep on them, don't sleep on them, don't sleep on them, and then they just continue to let me down. And the reason I said don't sleep on them is because they lose all of these close games that I'm like, dude, they lost to the Cardinals by 1 point. Like, they lose so many close games. They just give up these leads. They lose to the Cowboys by 4 points. Like, so many talented teams that they've stayed in the game against. And then finally, the last 2 weeks, something changed. Something turned around. They've been able to close out these games against the Chargers, a very good team. Against the Packers, a really, really good team. Now the Vikings, I would say, have the talent of being one of the better teams in the NFC. And unfortunately, the record, it's 5-5. It's just not showing. So right now, they're currently in the wild card race. If the playoffs were to start today, they would make the playoffs. However, the record, I think it doesn't really show how talented the Vikings are. And if you want to ask my humble opinion, I think the Vikings, they have the talent to make the postseason, and I think it's going to happen. So the Vikings, that's the takeaway. They're just as talented as your regular 8-3 team. They should be 8-3. Should be 9-2, honestly. Next takeaway. Okay, this is not going to be a popular one, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Mason Crosby may not be the Packers kicker for very long. Yeah, it's not looking good for Mason Crosby. I know it's tough to let go of someone that's been on your team for so long. It's been, what was it, 2006 is since Mason Crosby's been with the Packers. His performance, however, 15 out of 23 field goals converted. I don't think that's really feasible to say the least. And as a matter of fact, the 2 losses that they had against the Chiefs and against the Vikings yesterday, it might be because of the cause of Mason Crosby missing those kicks. He went 0 for 2 against the Chiefs. Hey, you lost 17-13. If you made those, you could at least tied it 13-13. Against the Minnesota Vikings, they lost by a Greg Joseph field goal. So that in itself, like, if you converted a field goal, you would be winning. And if not, you'd go to overtime and have a chance to win. So I know it's tough. 2022 is his last year on his contract, so he's got 1 more year left. I don't know if the Packers are going to move on at that point, or if they're saying anything or having internal discussions right now about moving on and getting a new kicker. So unfortunately, Mason Crosby may not be a Green Bay Packer for very, very long. The next takeaway, Antonio Gibson is primed for a big last stretch of the regular season. Hey, man, he went to the doghouse. First half against the Carolina Panthers. Ron Rivera has no patience, fumbled the ball. Hey, you're in the doghouse. And I was like, oh no, like why'd you start him in fantasy football and stuff like that? However, the second half, absolute tear against the most talented, one of the more talented run defenses in the NFL. Like 19 rushes for 95 yards. They use him at the goal line, like 2 straight rushes at the goal line. Like he's being utilized as someone that Ron Rivera trusts, even though he had that fumble issue. Gave him a little bit of a punishment in the first half, but in the second half, Antonio Gibson used that as motivation. Ron Rivera trusts him, was like, okay, you're good to go. Go do your thing. And now, if you look at his schedule, weeks 12 through 17, do me a favor, look up the Washington football team's schedule from weeks 12 through 17 and tell me that those aren't good matchups for Antonio Gibson. Gibson is primed for a last stretch, like a big last stretch of the regular season, and I'm excited about it. Cam Newton is good enough to lead the Panthers to the playoffs. That's the next takeaway. They're currently the 10th seed right now if the playoffs were to start today, so they would miss out. And there are teams right now with 5 wins as well, such as the Minnesota Vikings, who beat the Panthers, so they have the tiebreaker, the Saints as well, the 49ers, and the Eagles, who also beat the Panthers. So they've unfortunately lost to the teams that are ranked ahead of them. However, it's not out of the question that Cam Newton, the way that he's been performing the last 2 games, coming back to Carolina, could be the main reason why the Panthers could survive. We know how talented their defense is. And then they signed Stephon Gilmore, which made their defense even better. Christian McCaffrey is back. Cam Newton is back. He's going to be the starter for the remainder of the season. Sam Darnold's going to come back as a backup. This team is talented enough to make a postseason run. So Carolina, not out of the question. The Titans' offense has come back down to reality. Oof. What happened against the Houston Texans? Hey, it did not look that good. Tannehill, this is a cool stat that I looked up. Tannehill now has thrown 4 touchdown passes and 7 interceptions this season on passes of 10 yards or more. That should go ahead and tell you that this team is a run-heavy team that relied on Derrick Henry. And in the last 2 games, it was like, man, this defense is so good enough that you don't even need Derrick Henry, and you'll be completely fine. Then they came down to reality. It's like, all right, now we got to get back into the swing of things. We got to improve the passing game. Tannehill, we've been talking about him as a quarterback that, like, maybe you need to get rid of in fantasy football just because you don't have Henry to take away pressure from the pass game. And now everybody knows to cover A.J. Brown since Julio Jones is injured. I mean, the Titans' offense is coming down to reality, and something needs to change quick. Even though they have a very good record, and they're high up there, 8 wins. Yeah, that's awesome. But something needs to change like right now before the postseason, before you absolutely regret it. So the Tannehill led Titans offense, something needs to change. The last takeaway, Matt Nagy must hate running with the ball. David Montgomery, the last 2 games against the Steelers before their bye week, and this week. Yesterday, 14 carries for 58 yards, averaging 4.14 yards a carry, and then 13 carries for 63 yards against the Steelers. That's almost 5 yards a carry. However, with 13 carries against the Steelers and 14 carries against the Ravens, that's not the volume enough that you need to really win football games. Out of your best running back that's going to get the majority of the running back snaps, that's an absolute tank at the running back position because he's averaging that against 2 very good AFC North teams. Like the Steelers they're not slouches in the run defense, and the Ravens as well. They may give up some big plays here and there, those 2 teams, but I mean they have the talent to really do well. So Matt Nagy must be against running with the ball because in those 2 games against the Steelers and the Ravens, they were not out of it. Completely not out of it. Like the game came down to 1 possession. Still decided to pass with the ball instead of running with the ball. So unfortunately, that may cost him his job. Those are 10 takeaways that we learned from this past Sunday. You guys are continuing to leave your comments, and I encourage you guys to go ahead and do that. However, I'm going to go ahead and preview the Monday Night Football game here right now, actually, as a matter of fact. We actually might have some breaking news. Yep. The Packers, They lost Elton Jenkins, offensive lineman, suffered a torn ACL during Sunday's game versus the Vikings and is out for the season. That is huge for the Green Bay offensive line. Terrible news. Terrible news. All right, now we're going to be looking forward to the Monday Night Football game by previewing WinView games. So what it is an app that you can make props on and predictions for the Monday night game, Thursday night game, Sunday games, whatever it may be, any game before the game starts and even during the game as well. So tonight, Giants and Bucks are happening. You could be like, hey, second quarter, do you think the first touchdown of the second quarter is going to be a passing touchdown? Do you think it's going to be a rushing touchdown? That might be a pregame question. Or even during live, you could be like, hey, on this drive, is Saquon Barkley going to run in for a touchdown? If you are correct in your predictions, you earn some points and you could win some serious cash. And if you look at the screen right now, winview.tv/T2F, if you make a $100 deposit, they will match that for you to play on WinView. So we asked you 10 questions on Instagram. What do you think is going to happen? And I'll give you my insight on that as well. So the first question, which team rushes for the most yards in this game? Will it be the Giants or the Buccaneers? Well, if we look at the polls, 74% say it's going to be the Buccaneers and 26% say it's going to be the Giants. Yeah, the Buccaneers' run defense has been looking great. They may give up some goal line touchdowns here and there, but as far as yards per carry, it's no question the Buccaneers with Leonard Fournette have the advantage in that question. A touchdown is scored in every quarter of this game. Will that happen or no? Ooh, right down the middle, 50-50. You guys are kind of split on this. I'm going to go ahead and lean in towards the no, just because that might be harder to do. The Giants' defense is actually kind of good, and the Buccaneers, we know, had talented their defenses, so they may keep them out of the end zone. So I'm going to, if I had to pick either one of them, I'm going to say no. At least 2 Buccaneer players have 10 rushing attempts or more. Will that happen or no? 59% say no, and 41% say yes. I'm going to go with no. It's been all Leonard Fournette. Ronald Jones is going to get maybe 5 carries or so. Giovanni Bernard, maybe just 1 or 2 carries. It's going to be Leonard Fournette that leads the way. The Giants recorded more sacks than the Buccaneers. Will that happen or no? 89% say no, and 11% say yes. I am going to lean towards no, but I wouldn't count out the Giants' defense. Again, I know they had the bye week, so people are forgetting about them. But the Giants' defense is actually kind of good, so don't count them out. But I am going to lean towards the Bucs. Both teams combined to rush for 3 or more touchdowns between Saquon Barkley, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones. Is it going to happen or no? 46% say no, 54% say yes. I'm going to lean in towards no. It is not going to happen. The strength of the Bucs defense is the run defense, so they may keep Devontae Booker and Saquon out of the end zone. And then in that case, you're looking at 3 touchdowns between Fournette, Ronald Jones, Giovanni Bernard. That's kind of hard to do. A Giants player has 85 receiving yards or more. Will that happen or no? 58% say yes, 42% say no. So I think they're talking about Kadarius Toney maybe, because Sterling Shepard is out. I'm going to lean in towards no. Now, if Sterling Shepard was in, I'm absolutely picking yes, because he's going to get like 7, 8, 9, 10 receptions if he were to be playing against the Bucs defense. However, Kadarius Toney had 1 good game against the Cowboys, and then after that, hasn't been looking good. So I'm going to lean in towards no. Either team forces 2 turnovers or more. Will that happen or no? 35% say no, 65% say yes. Hey, we think that Daniel Jones is going to be careful with the ball. That's why we're leaning towards no in this instance. However, you guys believe that it's going to be yes, that they are going to be, each team's going to have 2 or more turnovers. If anything, we'd expect the Bucs to have those turnovers. Mike Evans has more receptions than Chris Godwin. Would that happen or no? 57% say yes, 43% say no. I'm going to lean in towards no. Chris Godwin, I think, is going to outshine Mike Evans and have more receptions. Like, he's been one of the more targeted receivers on this Bucs team this year. If I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on it, he's either right around Mike Evans or might have more targets than Mike Evans. So I don't think that there's any indication that Chris Godwin won't surpass him. Daniel Jones has more total yards than Tom Brady. Will that happen or no? 70% are saying no. 30% are saying yes, guys. Reread the question. Total yards. This is including rushing and passing. I'm going to say yes, it is going to happen. Daniel Jones very well might get 50 rushing yards in this game. And at that point, we'll have an edge on Tom Brady. So I'm going to say yes. The Bucs win this game by 10 or more points. This is the last question. Will it happen or no? 77% say yes. 23% say no. I'm going to lean in towards yes. I think in our props and our picks, we picked the Buccaneers to win by 14, and I'm going to stick by it. So that is WinView game. So again, use the promo code or use the download link, winview.tv/T2F. The link is in the description. I'll actually show you, as a matter of fact, how it works. So I got it pulled up right now, and let me go ahead and go over here to my computer. So, for instance, which team rushes for the most yards in the game? Well, I think the majority of us like the Buccaneers, right? So what we're going to do in that instance is say, okay, let's pick Tampa Bay. And I'm somewhat confident on it, so I'm going to pick in the middle how many points I want to wager in this. Or you could take a risk-free one shot that doesn't count against you. 750 points is the max you can put down. But we can go risk-free as well if we wanted to. But I'm going to go ahead and go down the middle right here and then make prediction, and then it just goes to the next question. And that's pretty much it. Like, you earn points if you're correct. And you can win some cash that way. You go head-to-head against people as well. So, winview.tv/T2F. Use that download link. Sign up. Start playing. All right. Now, you guys have been very, very patient. I've been ignoring you guys in the comments. So let me go ahead and take this moment to answer any sort of questions that you guys have been leaving in the chat down below. Let's go ahead and say what you guys are saying. Who's your favorite MVP right now? I'm between Jonathan Taylor and Tom Brady. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor, 5 touchdowns. He's not getting the love. Running backs just don't get the love. Derrick Henry, in my eyes, should have been in the conversation as well before he got injured. I think Jonathan Taylor should be in that conversation as well. Tom Brady, okay, I could see that as well. I would lean in towards, if Lamar Jackson hasn't been so inconsistent, then it may be him. Before the season started, I think one of my top 3 favorites was Justin Herbert. I don't think he's going to really get it, though. I would pick Kyler Murray over him. Man, to answer your question, man, it's sad that, like, a receiver can't get – maybe a receiver can, but, like, it hasn't happened yet that a receiver can't get MVP because Cooper Kupp has been really, really good. But I'm going to lean in towards I'm advocating for Jonathan Taylor. I'm advocating. Kyler Murray and Jonathan Taylor would probably be my 2 that would be in the conversation. But I would lean in towards Jonathan Taylor. Saquon. Today I have Saquon against. Today I have Saquon. I need that he does not put more than 9. Oh, you're facing Saquon. Okay. He does not put 9 points. Do you think it is possible? Thanks. PPR, it is possible. If it's standard, I think you're good. Half PPR, it's going to be close. Now, I will give you a little bit of optimism. I don't think they're going to give him a full 3-down roll. It's going to be Devontae Booker that works in there. So it's probably going to be 50-50, to be honest with you. So it works in your favor. Good morning from Puerto Rico. Miguel from your burner account. I appreciate that. Milano. How long do you think Lamb and Carter will be out? Well, to be honest with you, I don't think Carter will be. I don't have any information on Michael Carter. So we're still waiting to see the severity of Michael Carter. CeeDee Lamb, we're still waiting on reports on him. However, I can go ahead and tell you with a short week and how the concussion protocol works, and everybody wanted to be safe, and boo, gosh, freaking head injuries. Just like put them in. Gosh, just so stupid for caring about their health. By the way, before I get to you, breaking news that we just learned, the Broncos signed wide receiver Courtland Sutton to a 4-year, $60.8 million contract extension. Courtland Sutton is going to be around in Denver for a very long time. All right, so that is breaking news that you can't get anywhere else. Maybe Twitter. But you guys are tuning in here. So to answer your question, Carter, I don't know. Lamb, I can go ahead and tell you it's like a 5% shot that he plays. this Thursday. All statistics are, or 90% of statistics are made up. That one was made up. But I can go ahead and tell you that more likely than not, he's not going to be playing this Thursday against Las Vegas. Gary Santos, Herbert going to put up 9 points next week. He's inconsistent this year. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Gary, I kind of have to agree with you that Herbert has been inconsistent. Now, it was a game against the Baltimore Ravens where they had some pretty good defense. The Steelers' defense, however, it may look good on paper, but then you lose 2 of your star players. I mean, 3, I guess, if you include Joe Hayden, Mika Fitzpatrick, and TJ Watt. Yeah, it's not looking good for the Steelers. So, I mean, that's why Herbert excelled, but, like, he looked good. He looked really good, like one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. So, he has been pretty inconsistent. So, I can't guarantee that he'll be putting up 34 points every week. Miguel saying, "Let's go Chargers." Yeah, got the lights blue and yellow for you guys that are Chargers fans. How do you view Miles Sanders and Hunt rest of the season? I love them. I love them. It's kind of disappointing that Jordan Howard worked in there as many carries as Miles Sanders. However, that kind of shows you that, they're running focus. So let's go ahead and work in Miles Sanders. He's our starting running back. Nick Sirianni has proclaimed that for a very long time. He's the most talented back out of Jordan Howard. So I like it for the rest of the season. And given their schedule as well, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Hunt, however, on the other hand, I mean, same thing. His schedule for the rest of the season is not that bad. He's going to return back to his Kareem Hunt role. Dearness Johnson, unfortunately, is not filling in that need. It's all Nick Chubb at this point. That Browns offense, by the way, just did not look good. I think Hunt will definitely help them. And Baker Mayfield, they need to rest him. They definitely do. Ronaldo, good morning from Guadalajara, Mexico. Hey, I appreciate the international people joining in. I love that. Amir, talking about the question of the day, what needs to happen with the Seahawks? Honestly, I think Carson meant more than anybody thought. Yeah, and Carson is just a very, very underrated running back. With his neck injury, I don't think he'll be the same coming back next year. I really don't. There's been neck injuries in the past where people have been like, oh, we come back and we throw, hey, we're an MVP. We have an MVP type season like Peyton Manning. 2011 neck injury, 2012 Suns with the Broncos, good season in 2012, 2013 MVP. So, like, yeah, it can happen, but, like, with a running back, we're taking constant hits to the neck. It's tough. It's tough, and Carson might have been the missing piece. Like, Alex Collins, Rashad Penny, DJ Dallas, these guys aren't really getting it done for Seattle. Just as saying Seahawks needs defensive and offensive line. Problem is they got no money because they overpaid players. Yeah. Are we looking at Jamal Adams? Looking at you, Jamal. What's up, Jamal? I'm looking at you. Yeah, it's tough. They signed Tyler Lockett to a big contract too, right? So at that point, I like Tyler Lockett. I really do. It's like, at that point, you could use your money elsewhere, but I really do like it. John saying it's Russell's finger. Yeah, Russell Wilson needs to play better, and I think he's not 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Big Dog Pound saying my opponent had Eckler and he killed me. Dude, same. So I was in the position where I'm in 2 leagues. I have Justin Herbert in 1 league, and I was starting him. And the other, I was playing against Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler. So, I mean, it was double kill. Like, please, he's already dead. And they just kept on putting on points. I was like, oh my gosh, this sucks. But so it was kind of like hey, I'm down by 25 and I need Justin Herbert to do really well in my, I think it was my viewer league. And then in my main league, I'm playing against Justin Herbert, but I'm down by 16 or I'm up by 16. So I need him to like not do well. So like, it's like, okay, if you do well, Justin Herbert, at least I win in 1 league, but lose in the other. So like I was gonna be 1-1 regardless. Like if Justin Herbert does well, if he doesn't do well. So I guess, I mean, I got a victory in 1. So now I'm sitting at 7-4 in my main league and then 6-5 in my viewer league. So it's like, oh man, like I'm cutting it close on making the playoffs. I think in my main league I will. But yeah, they just, he had a great game. Austin Eckler as well, man. Austin Eckler is one of the more underrated running backs in the NFL. TDG saying, should I trade Zeke, Damian Harris, Brandon Cooks for CD, Darrell Henderson, and James Conner? So Damian Harris is on the decline. Brandon Cooks is kind of like up and down, up and down. Zeke is just like constantly good. CD, Darrell Henderson, and James Conner. CD is better than Brandon Cooks. Okay. Darrell Henderson or James Conner is an improvement from Damien Harris, I feel like. You got to give up Zeke, though. But when Chase Edmonds comes back, will James Conner be? You know what? If you're in a position where like Zeke is your RB1 and Damien Harris is your RB2, and you need an RB2, I would go down the route of getting Darrell Henderson and James Conner as your new RB1s and RB2s instead of Zeke and Damien Harris. I like that combination better. And then CD is an improvement from Brandon Cooks. You have to suffer this week though, because I don't think he's going to be playing. But I mean, I would do it. AB saying, "Oh, MSC Braces says, what about Giants wide receivers? Oh, their status. Okay, yeah. So Sterling Shepard is out. Kadarius Toney will play. Kenny Galladay will play. Those are the status of the Giants wide receivers here tonight. I like the tradition of the same holiday matchups and the lore that they package along with it and all, but it would be great to play in a marquee matchup on those days. Cowboys versus Raiders is a great game, though. Yeah, it is a great game. I remember Matt McGloin one time, not too long ago, started for the Oakland Raiders against the Dallas Cowboys, and then they had another Raiders-Cowboys game on Thanksgiving not too long ago, and then they're playing again. The Bears and Lions, yeah, they do play a lot. I mean, there's NFC North rivals, so you kind of have to expect that. But then I like how NBC kind of switches it up. You know, it's like, all right, who's going to be playing this year? It's going to be Bills Saints. That's going to be a good game on that night game. Sometimes it's Falcons Saints. I think was a couple years back. And then how could we ever forget 10 years ago? Hard to believe it was been that long, but something around 10 years ago, it was Mark Sanchez and the New York Jets and the butt fumble against the New England Patriots. Big Dog Pound saying hello, Hassan and T2F family. Thank you. MSC Braces, what do you think about Giants wide receivers? Oh, who would you start? Okay, you're asking who would I start. I mean, Kadarius Toney. I would take him over Kenny Galladay, but I'm not hopeful on him. So Kadarius Toney would be the one that I would take. Joseph, I'm 4-7 in my league. Dang, after my loss. Should I trade Hunt, Damien Harris, A.J. Brown, or anyone to get the team better? Yeah, man. Damien Harris is a sell right now, and I would do it like right now to a running back needy team before like he constantly has these games where he's splitting touches with Ramondre Stevenson. Damien Harris is someone I would trade. Hunt, now I like him for the rest of the season. However, you may be in that position where like you can't keep Hunt. You can't be without Hunt for the next 2-3 weeks, however long he's going to be out. So Hunt might be someone that you want to move on from. Agent Brown, I still like him. I would keep him. But some players that you want to buy low right now, I'm telling you, Antonio Gibson, like low. I'm not saying that Antonio Gibson's going to be an RB1 the rest of the season, but I would not be surprised if the rest of the season he's an RB2. His schedule, dude. Seattle this week, Monday Night Football. I think he faces the Raiders as well. He faces Philadelphia twice. He faces Dallas twice. Like, there's some good matchups coming up. Dallas might be tough, but there's some good matchups. So Antonio Gibson might be someone you want to target pretty late or pretty low. Thanks for recommending McGoat. And low, thank you for listening. Yeah, Evan McPherson. Now, here's the thing, though. Any kicker that faces the Raiders at this point, you may want to start them. You may want to stream them. So Greg Zuerlein this Thursday might be someone you may want to stream because they gave up a lot of field goal attempts. But, yeah, Evan McPherson, dude. You're welcome. 20 points in my league. I don't know what your scoring format is. But, yeah, 20 points. What's wrong with the Bills? Dude, Big Dog Pound, I don't know. It's not looking good. It's just they give up a big one to the Colts, and then the Jaguars as well, and something's got to change. Maybe that could be the question of the day tomorrow. Like, what's going on with the Bills? How can they improve? Yeah, it's not looking good. Like, giving up the lead to the Patriots. The Titans are a fluke. That's what Gary says. Titans are really missing King Henry. Yep. MSC braces. I don't know if you're still tuned in, but Tony Overgalde. Hurts or Herbert rest of the season. So I have both in my viewer league. Rest of the season, I'm taking Herbert because Hurts is kind of unreliable. However, I did start Jalen Hurts in my other league, and I was happy about that. Not the Mayo saying I have Eckler and Jonathan Taylor. Dude, there's no way you lost. No way. Travis Kelce's on a bye. Whom should I stream for next week? Big Dog Pound. I have not looked at the schedule like in detail. I haven't worked on my sorts of sits, so I can't answer that just yet. But tune in tomorrow, and I got you, man. Is it Javonte Williams season yet? I want it to be, man. I want it to be. He's so freaking good. So freaking good. But Melvin Gordon, as long as he's the starter, no. Next year, though, he's going to be the 3.5. Like, he's going to be drafted probably next year in, like, the second or third round, I'm assuming. But he should be, like, a first-rounder for sure. All right, I am running a little bit long, so I can't get to all of you guys. But MSC braces think should Marquise Goodwin be targeted? Nah, I think he was just like a one-time thing. But yeah, I nah. Let me see, who have I not given love to? Jack, how do you feel about Myles Gaskin and Waddle playing the Carolina defense this coming up? Now Carolina got exposed with Washington. But the Dolphins' offensive line is going to hurt Gaskin. So Gaskin's going to go back down to his, put it up 5-6 fantasy points or something like that. I'm not hopeful on Myles Gaskin. Like, this was the only week, maybe like in the future when he faces the Jets again, that he could exceed. So I would try to sell high on him if you can. Waddle, I'm more hopeful about that you could start against Carolina, though. All right, let me go ahead and acknowledge one more person. I do have to sign off, though. Who have I not given love to? Melee. I'm looking to pick up Troutman for the rest of the season. What do you think? I'm not hopeful on it. Actually, so I'll give you a little bit of a preview. The adds and drops. My ad of the week for tight end is Adam Troutman. And in my description, I'm saying, like, I'm not hopeful on this. The Saints offense is not like designed for the pass catchers to exceed. However, like, what else are you going to do at tight end? Like, this could be the last best tight end that's available on the waivers because everybody else is taken. So I'm not hopeful on it, but I mean, at tight end, that might be the best that you get. You're also saying congratulations on the Evan McPherson prediction. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're just... Thank you. All right. With that, thank you. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and sign off right here. I'll stop. I want to be humble. Anyways, yes. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Time2Football. Really, really appreciative of you guys tuning in on your Mondays and talking about football. Tomorrow, we're going to talk more about fantasy football. I know this was kind of more like an NFL in general, like, hey, what's happening in the team and, in the league with predictions and all that. With all that said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And remember, thank you.